Hey everyone, welcome to another ranking, and welcome to my ranking of Sergio Leone's movies. Yes, Sergio Leone is one of the great filmmakers out there. He's one of the best directors. He's one of the best directors that has directed westerns, because that's basically what he's did. He's only made 6 movies, and 5 out of the 6 films are westerns, and they're all some of the greatest westerns ever in cinema, and I'm excited to do my ranking of all of Sergio Leone's movies. And it's a very hard ranking because, again, he only has 6 films, and all 6 of his movies are amazing. They're all great films, so it was hard to pick a favorite and hard to pick, like, what his worst movie is, so I managed to do it, and yeah, here we go. Here's my ranking of all of Sergio Leone's movies, from my least favorite to my favorite. Alright, let's get started. Alright, coming at number 6 is the movie For a Few Dollars More. For a Few Dollars More is actually a very good movie. It is the worst Sergio Leone movie by default. Yes, it's the worst by default. It's still a very good movie. Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef is in this movie. Again, has the Ennio Morricone score and stuff, has the great Western action sequences. There's a lot of tension to it and stuff. There's some good atmosphere. And again, Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef. Anytime you have Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef in your movie, you're gonna get a pretty awesome kick-ass Western. The only thing that puts it probably at the worst spot is it is the most forgettable movie out of the Dollars trilogy, or the Man with No Name trilogy, whatever trilogy you want to call that. Trilogy. It is the weakest film out of Good, Bad, the Ugly, and Fistful of Dollars. I have the Blu-ray of that trilogy, and mostly I bought the Blu-ray for $12. I mostly buy it for Good and Bad, the Ugly, because that's the best. But yeah, I've only watched For a Few Dollars More one time, and I don't always have an interest to really watch it again because it's a 2.5-hour Western, and again, it's not very memorable. It's a very good movie, just it's not a very memorable movie. At least Fistful of Dollars is more memorable, and Good and the Bad and the Ugly is just an epic Western. But if it's still a good movie, it's just not very memorable, it's not very compelling, and just it's not as interesting and as riveting as the other Sergio Leone Western films, but it's still a good movie. Coming number 5 is Once Upon a Time in America. Yes, he did Once Upon a Time in the West, now it's time for America's turn. Yes, this movie is about Jewish gangsters, and it's about basically the 35-year progression of all these kids' lives and stuff. It starts, like, near the ending's the beginning, and then near the middle is the beginning and stuff, you know. It's the non-traditional way of telling a story, the Christopher Nolan way of telling a story and stuff. It goes all over the place with flash-forwards, flashbacks and stuff, and it's about their childhood, basically them growing up in, you know, in Brooklyn and stuff during, like, during Prohibition and stuff. Then it's them growing up being all these hardcore gangsters. Then it's them as the older men and stuff, and basically they're going to a party, meeting up and stuff, and you don't know why they're meeting up, and I don't want to spoil anything and stuff, and yeah. This was the only Sergio Leone film that was not a Western. This was a straight-up gangster film, crime thriller and stuff, and yeah, it was a really good movie. It has great performances by Robert De Niro, a young performance by Jennifer Connelly, James Woods, Joe Pesci. Everyone is really good. There's even a cameo of Sergio Leone as the ticket cutter in the train station, and it's a very good film, great performances, great score. Again, Ennio Morricone, he does all of the great Sergio Leone films, he does all the great scores. There's some good action sequences, there's some very riveting drama, there's great characters, even though they're very unlikable as shit, but they're still very interesting to watch, and they're portrayed by great actors. Again, the only problem I have with this movie is it's overly long. This movie's about 4 hours and 10 minutes long. It is super long, and it doesn't it doesn't give the rewatchability factor, because all the other Sergio Leone films I've seen more than once. For a Few Dollars More and Once Upon a Time in America are the only Sergio Leone films I've only seen once, and they're probably the only movies I'm ever going to watch once, because I don't have interest to ever watch them again, even though they're great films. They're such good movies. You don't have an interest to watch a movie for 4 hours that's good, but not very watchable, and not very entertaining. Like, Once Upon a Time in America is not meant to be this fun, entertaining film. It's meant to be a very hardcore, raw, dramatic crime story, and it does it very well. The shots, the direction, the execution, the performances, all of that is so well done. This movie is fantastic. It is so good. It's just not very watchable. It's kind of like a one-and-done kind of movie and stuff. Again, it's overly long. It has a lot of despicability with the characters and stuff. And again, it's very raw. It's very gritty. It's very dark. It's very unpleasant. So it doesn't really have that watchability factor, but it's still a great film. Coming number 4 is Duck You Sucker, or Fistful of Dynamite. I don't know which title people use and stuff. This movie was renamed because they didn't want to call it Duck You Sucker, even though that's the original title. So they renamed it to Fistful of Dynamite. So whatever you want to call this film, call it whatever you want. This has like Rod Steiger and stuff in it. Again, it's a great, fun, enjoyable Western film with a good story, compelling cast, good characters, amazing score. Again, once again, Ennio Morricone, great editing, good action, and it's just very intense, very taut, and it's very well done. And it's watchable. It's a 2.5-hour film, but it's very watchable, very entertaining. If you love watching fun, enjoyable spaghetti westerns, you'll have a blast with Fistful of Dynamite, or Duck You Sucker, whatever you want to call this film and stuff. The only reason it's not lower on the list is because the other films are just better, but this is still a really fun western. Coming number 3 is Fistful of Dollars. Fistful of Dollars is the first installment out of the Dollars or the Man with No Name trilogy with Clint Eastwood, and yes, I love this movie. This movie was in 1964? Yeah, 64. For a few dollars more, 65. Getting the Bad, the Ugly was 66. I love this movie. I think it's great. I think it has a very simplistic story, which makes it more raw, more interesting and stuff. And again, it's very short. It's only like a 95-minute film, and it's very quick, but it doesn't feel rushed and stuff. It is very subtle. It is very atmospheric. Anytime you watch a Sergio Leone film, he knows how to do tension, subtlety, and atmosphere very well. His movies are very quiet, which is why I love his films. He is so quiet. He builds tension. He creates a lot of great atmosphere, and he sets the tone for all his films incredibly well. Fistful of Dollars does an amazing job. It has some pretty forgettable villains and stuff, but it has good action, has a solid performance by Clint Eastwood, and it's just a very entertaining spaghetti western, and yeah, I love it. Coming number 2 is Once Upon a Time in the West. Yes, this movie is epic. It is so freaking epic. It is a fantastic western movie. I absolutely love it. Again, it is a 3-hour film, but it flies by because I'm just so riveted by the story. Again, he uses a lot of quiet moments to create atmosphere and tension. I love the opening to this movie with all the cowboys at the train station. All you see is friggin' Charles Bronson with his harmonica and stuff. This cool 4-way duel, and it's just awesome. It's so well done, so well directed and stuff. I love the production of Once Upon a Time in the West. I love Henry Fonda's performance. He's one of the lead characters, and he's the villain in the movie. He is just sick and twisted, and Henry Fonda just does an amazing job in this film, and again, I love Charles Bronson. The whole cast is fantastic. Again, the costumes, production, the makeup, the action, the subtlety, the atmosphere, the shots, the direction, the execution. Everything about Once Upon a Time in the West is so well crafted, and it's one of the great westerns of all time, and it's my second favorite Sergio Leone film. And my number 1 favorite Sergio Leone film is, of course, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. This movie is absolutely solid from start to finish. You got Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, and of course Eli Wallach as Tuco. Hey, Blondie, with the treasure, Blondie. So great. It has the classic Western score. Again, Ennio Morricone. It's the best Ennio Morricone score ever in film. It's so amazing. It's some of the best action sequences in a Western. It's absolutely stunning. Has a great story, great characters. I love these 3 lead characters, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I love Tuco. Eli Wallach does an amazing job. I love the climax, the final showdown between these 3 guys. Who's going to get that treasure and stuff, and it's just a fantastic movie. I love it. It's not a perfect film, but it is a damn near perfect Western. It is so well done. And this movie just screams Western with its score and its style and its direction and its characters and its production. Everything about this movie is everything that anyone wants in a Western. If you love Westerns, then this is everything that you know and that you love. It's The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. It's one of the greatest Westerns of all time, and it's hands down my favorite Sergio Leone film. So yeah, that was my ranking of all of Sergio Leone's films, from my least favorite to my favorites. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, what is your ranking of all of Sergio Leone's films, from your least favorite to your favorite? Comment below, let me know. And as always, for this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.